Have you noticed that everyone's suddenly talking about Bitcoin again? But not because of the price? This time, it's something new. Something people never expected from Bitcoin. It's called Ordinals, and it's bringing a wave of digital art, gaming, and NFTs onto a network that was originally built just to move money. That's right, Bitcoin is now hosting NFTs, and it's not a joke or a meme, it's happening for real. Some are calling it innovation, others think it's chaos. Either way, it's changing the conversation in the crypto world. Let's count down the 10 biggest reasons why everyone is talking about Ordinals and Bitcoin NFTs, and why you might want to pay attention to. 10. NFTs were never meant for Bitcoin, until now. For years, NFTs lived on Ethereum, Solana, and other chains that supported smart contracts. Bitcoin was considered too slow, too rigid, and simply not designed for anything beyond being digital gold. But all of that changed in early 2023 when software engineer Casey Rodarmor introduced a protocol called Ordinals. It allowed people to inscribe data onto individual satoshis, the smallest unit of Bitcoin. This meant you could attach an image, a video, or even a game directly onto the Bitcoin blockchain forever. That changed everything. Bitcoin was no longer just about storing value. It suddenly became a canvas. 9. There are already over 65 million inscriptions. You might think it's just a few nerds experimenting, but the numbers tell a different story. As of June 2025, there have been over 65 million ordinal inscriptions on the Bitcoin network. These include everything from pixel art to poems to complex generative designs. That's a huge number, considering the protocol only launched in January 2023. This isn't just a trend, it's quickly turning into a movement. More creators are jumping in every day, and there are even full-fledged NFT projects and marketplaces built just for Ordinals. 8. There's no need for sidechains or external storage. One of the main criticisms of traditional NFTs is that they don't always live on-chain. In most cases, the token itself is on the blockchain, but the actual image or file is stored elsewhere, often on IPFS or a private server. If that server goes down, the image is gone. Ordinals work differently. The entire file gets directly written onto the Bitcoin blockchain. It's permanent. It can't be deleted or modified. That's huge. It brings a new level of authenticity and immutability that many say was missing in earlier NFTs. For collectors and creators who want their work to truly last, that's a game changer.
Ordinals work differently.
The entire file gets directly written onto the Bitcoin blockchain. It's permanent. It can't be deleted or modified. That's huge. It brings a new level of authenticity and immutability that many say was missing in earlier NFTs. For collectors and creators who want their work to truly last, that's a game changer. 7. It's reviving the Bitcoin developer community. Bitcoin has always had a strong community, but for years, most of the innovation was happening on other chains like Ethereum and Solana. Developers were building games, DeFi apps, and art platforms, but rarely on Bitcoin. Ordinals have shifted that. Now developers are coming back to Bitcoin with fresh ideas. They're building wallets, marketplaces, indexing tools, and even layer 2 solutions like stacks that support smart contracts. In just 2 years, Bitcoin has gone from being a passive network to one of the most exciting places for builders again. It's created an energy the Bitcoin space hasn't seen in years. 6. Big names are getting involved. Whenever something new pops up in crypto, you can usually tell it's serious once the big players get involved. And that's exactly what's happening with Ordinals. Platforms like Magic Eden, one of the top NFT marketplaces originally on Solana, have added full support for Bitcoin Ordinals. Even traditional Bitcoin companies like Hero Systems, Gamma.io, and Xverse Wallet are building Ordinal-friendly features. Influential crypto investors like Udi Wertheimer and Eric Wall have publicly praised Ordinals for bringing culture and creativity back to Bitcoin. When thought leaders, platforms, and funds start paying attention, you know there's something real happening. 5. Ordinals sparked the BRC20 token movement. Ordinals weren't just used for NFTs. Soon after they launched, a developer named Domo created a way to issue fungible tokens, basically like ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, using the same inscription system. He called them BRC20 tokens, and they took off like wildfire. One of the first tokens, ORDI, reached a market cap of over $1 billion at its peak. That's massive for a token that didn't exist a year earlier. BRC20 tokens have now inspired a whole ecosystem of meme coins, utility tokens, and experimental assets, all running on Bitcoin without smart contracts. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. 4. Not everyone is happy about it. While ordinals have sparked excitement, they've also caused a lot of debate in the Bitcoin community. Some Bitcoin purists argue that NFTs don't belong on the network. They say ordinals clog up block space, increase fees, and distract from Bitcoin's main mission as a decentralized currency. In early 2023, Bitcoin transaction fees skyrocketed during a wave of ordinals activity. Some users couldn't afford to move their Bitcoin because the network was too congested. For critics, this was proof that ordinals were harmful. For supporters, it showed that Bitcoin could actually sustain a thriving digital economy if it's allowed to grow. 3. Bitcoin fees and miner revenue are rising. One of the lesser-known benefits of ordinals is how they impact miner incentives. After each Bitcoin halving, miners earn fewer rewards for adding new blocks. That means they'll need to rely more on transaction fees in the future. Ordinals help with that. By making the Bitcoin block space more valuable, they raise transaction fees, which means more money for miners. In May 2023, during the peak of ordinals hype, miner revenue from fees reached over 40% of total block rewards, something that was almost unheard of before. If Bitcoin is going to last for the long haul, it needs a healthy fee market. Ordinals might help make that possible. 2. Rare sats are creating a new collectibles market. This part is wild. Because ordinals track each individual satoshi, some people have started to assign rarity and collectability to certain sats based on when they were mined. For example, a sat from the first block ever mined by Satoshi Nakamoto is considered ultra rare. Sats from blocks after each halving are also seen as special. People are now paying thousands of dollars for these rare sats. Some are even buying them just to inscribe their art on a historically significant piece of Bitcoin. It's like buying a rare comic book and then framing your favorite piece of art on top of it. A new layer of meaning gets added, and collectors are loving it. 1. Bitcoin NFTs might outlast all others. Here's the biggest reason people are talking: permanence. Unlike NFTs on Ethereum or Solana, which rely on external files or centralized platforms, Bitcoin NFTs, thanks to ordinals, live directly on the Bitcoin blockchain. That means as long as Bitcoin exists, so will these inscriptions. And Bitcoin isn't just any blockchain. It's the most decentralized, most secure, and most battle-tested network in the world. It has over 19,000 nodes running globally. Its code is reviewed constantly. Governments, hackers, and billion-dollar companies have all tried to attack it and failed. So when you inscribe something onto a Satoshi, it's not just a digital item. It's a digital item with the strongest guarantee of permanence we've ever seen. That's why many believe that Bitcoin NFTs could actually outlive all other NFT projects, not because they're prettier or cheaper or trendier, but because they're backed by the most powerful blockchain ever created. So what started as a curious experiment in early 2023 has turned into one of the biggest shifts in how people think about Bitcoin. It's no longer just a store of value. With ordinals, it's become a place for art, gaming, culture, and even token economies. There's still a lot to figure out: scaling, storage, adoption. But one thing's clear: Bitcoin isn't just gold anymore. It's becoming something much more alive. If you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a like, share it with a friend who's into crypto, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got more coming your way on Bitcoin, NFTs, and everything in between. Thanks for watching.